Check, recording video on my iPhone. My grandpa was this incredible guy. He was an insurance adjuster. He taught the Navy SEALs how to swim when he was back in the Navy. And my dad tells this story about like his insurance days. He got a call or somehow found out that these two ships had crashed into each other just off the coast of the Bay Area of California. And one of the ships had a lot of wine on it. To anyone else, that just sounds like a lot of wine at the bottom of the ocean. But to my grandpa, Dick, his name was Dick. He didn't go by Richard. To Dick, he heard about a lot of wine at the bottom of the ocean. It was like 2,546 cases of wine at the bottom of the ocean. He's like, I could work with that. So he called his son-in-law, who had some sales and marketing expertise, and he says, Scotto, listen, I need your help. We got to sell 2,546 cases of wine that I'm going to go get from the bottom of the ocean. And he does it. He gets all the wine up out of the ocean. They have to start up an LLC or incorporate it in some way for some sort of protection, I guess, or something. And guess what Dick goes with naming the company? Here's my dad and my grandpa sitting at some table with some paperwork around going like, we need a name for this company. And he comes up with Dampened Spirits. The tagline was, because you don't drink the label. Because all the labels on these wines were ruined. You know, they're at the very least they're just scrunched and weird. You oftentimes can't read them, and they're gone. You don't drink the label. I've got to tell you the rest of it. I have a point in what I'm trying to say. Stick with me, but the rest of the story's even better. They had to fight. They got it all incorporated. They got everything set up. They're like, all right, now we need to try to sell this wine. What they're doing is not entirely legal. So my grandpa has an idea. He says, don't worry, Scotto. I got this figured out. I got a buddy with a barn. We're going to set up all the wine in there. And we're going to get the judges in first, because I know these guys. And then we're going to get the lawyers in. So you imagine you pull into this barn and then there's just huge cases of wine, glasses set out in front of each one of them. My dad actually was like, we got some wine that's not very good and some wine that's very good. Let's do the very good wine up front. And then as they get a little more sloshed going down the line, we'll have the worst wine at the end and see if we can sell that like it's the best wine. And I just love this idea of you've got to get the judges and the lawyers in first because we're not exactly above board, which I get is like a little cronyistic, right? Nowadays that would look disgusting, but this was like the 70s. It was a little bit more of a delicate and playful time. So you might be wondering what happened with all the wine. Well, they sold every last bit of it, and to the point of the thing worked where they reversed the wine and had the worst at the end. One guy came through, he's like, this is delicious. I'm buying all of these cases of wine of this last wine for my daughter's wedding. A phenomenal story about a guy who hears about 2,546 cases of wine at the bottom of the ocean, and he's like, I can work with that. Now, that's motivational. It's a great story. And maybe it does get you pumped up a little bit, but I want to go one step further. Because in order to do the big stuff, in order to have the crazy ideas and make them happen, which is where some kind of success comes from, right? Just having some idea that nobody else has had, and then knowing how to work the angles to get it done. In order to do that, you got to get all this like basic stuff on lockdown. The basic stuff of like just handling your email, right? Like how much of your time is spent handling email? Basic planning or accounting or analytics on how your business is doing right now and how it is in comparison to the week before that. The basics, the fundamentals, the rudiments of your business stuff are not super challenging, but they can make you run ragged if you're not careful with how you do it. If you don't, if you don't have a plan for this. I want you to listen to our last two podcast episodes. No, stop, before you're like, oh yeah, they just want me to listen to this. Oh, never mind, click away. I get it, but I know that these podcast episodes are going to help you handle the rudiments, the foundations of your business, the basic stuff, the stuff that every one of us has to do. It's like stabbing pencil. The stuff that every one of us has to do in our business, because this is what it looks like to work for ourselves. So in the last two episodes of The Fizzle Show, we covered our 25 favorite workflow tips, hacks, whatever you want to call them, for entrepreneurs, right? These are the stuff that we use to take care of the basics, the rudiments, the everydays of our business, so that we're not bogged down by that stuff. Now, it's a big conversation, so we broke it up into 2 episodes. But the sum total is you're going to walk away from this with a sense of how you can be brighter and more yourself about how you handle the fundamentals, the basics, the everydays of your business, so that you have more energy to spend going like, I can work with that. All right, if you want to listen to those podcast episodes, please do. What do you like? Subscribe to the show and listen to these things, because you just get to sit with professional entrepreneurs and kind of marinate in how they think about things. It's life-changing. You should read some of the reviews on iTunes. It's a really great show. It's very helpful for people. I feel like Donald Trump. It's very good. It's wonderful. It's the best. It's the best show. It's the best show. I don't know how to do a Donald Trump, so I go. It's wonderful. It's the best. It's wonderful. I'm really not nailing it.